Hi, I'm Miss T, and we're here for story time again. Tonight, we're going to talk about Esther and the very brave plan. This is a book written by Tim Thornborough, and all the pictures are drawn by Jennifer Davison. This is a true story from our Bible. We all make plans. We make a plan to see friends. We make a plan to go on a journey. We make a plan to go swimming or to have a picnic. This is a true story from the Bible about some horrible men who made horrible plans to get rid of God's people. But it's also a story about how God had a secret plan to rescue his people. As we read the story, try to spot how God is secretly at work in his plan. In the land of Persia, in the great city of Susa, there lived a great and powerful king. The king was rich and very proud, but the king had a problem. He looks like he has a problem, doesn't he? To go with his beautiful crown of gold, his beautiful palaces, the king wanted a beautiful queen. He ordered the most beautiful women in Persia to come to his palace so he could choose one of them to be his queen. Lots of pretty people there for him to choose from. Esther lived with her cousin Mordecai in the great city of Susa. They were God's people, and they lived in the land of Persia along with many others who loved and served the one true God. Now God made Esther a very beautiful woman, so when the king saw her, he chose her to be his queen. The proud king's proud plan had worked, but the king wasn't the only one with a plan. God had a plan too, and he was secretly working to make it happen. Wonder what God's plan is. Let's find out. One day, Mordecai heard two wicked men making a wicked plan to get rid of the king. Mordecai went and told the king, and the wicked men with the wicked plan were stopped, and the king was saved. What Mordecai did was written in a special book. This was all part of God's secret plan, and God was secretly working to make it happen. Have you figured out what the plan is yet? I don't know. Now, Haman was the king's special helper. Haman hated God's people. But he hated Mordecai most of all. I'll get rid of Mordecai, he said, and I'll get rid of all God's people. So horrible Haman made a horrible plan. Haman said to the king, "There are people in your kingdom who love and serve one true God and who do not obey you. You should make a law that they should all be killed." And the king believed what Haman told him, and he made a law. God's people were in terrible danger. Oh no! But God still had his secret plan, his people, and that was secretly working to make it happen. But how would he do it? Mordecai heard about the horrible plan, and he sent a message to Esther. "We are all in terrible danger. Maybe this is the reason that you're queen for such a time as this." So brave Esther made a very brave plan to speak to the king. It was all part of God's secret plan and was secretly working to keep his people safe. You know how he's going to do it yet? Let's find out. Now, in the land of Persia, no one could just walk up and talk to the king, not even the queen. But brave Esther put on her royal robes and walked trembling in to see him. She knew it was a very dangerous thing to do. But the king looked at Esther and smiled. So Esther invited the king and Haman to come to a special dinner the next day. Wonder how that's part of God's plan. That night, the king could not sleep, and he asked for his special book to be read to him. His servant told him the story of how Mordecai had saved him from the wicked men with the wicked plan. So the king ordered that Mordecai should be led through the streets on his royal horse, and that everyone should bow down to him. And he told Haman he had to lead the horse. Uh-oh. It was all part of God's secret plan, and he was secretly working to save his people. At the banquet with Queen Esther that night, the king and Haman had a wonderful time. The king said to Esther, "Ask me anything, and I will give it to you." Esther said, "Someone has ordered that I and all my people should be killed. Please save us." The king was angry. "Who did this?" Esther said, "It's Haman." Haman was taken away, and Mordecai was made the king's special helper. God's people were saved, and they had a huge party to celebrate. This was God's secret plan. He had been secretly working to rescue his people. God's plans always come true, even when people can't see how, and even when things seem to be going all the wrong way. God is always working to rescue his people so that they can celebrate with him forever. That's how God's secret plan saved the people, because of Esther. Join us again the next time when we find out more about God's people.